Greetings, traveller! On this dark and Stygian eve, I bid you salutations. By the moniker of LTT Moose I am known, from the hills of Grabnar to the dales of Frafnur. Verily it has fallen upon mine ears that the hoof-trodden dust of Ponyville, that Rarity, whence questing for gems and baubles, to ordain upon her folded silken garments, did chance upon the discovery of the red-hued emerald of legend, the Eye of Argon.
Verily, husked the diminutive steed, I shall proceed henceforth towards my chateau and ensconcel it within my finest bedazzled garb. As she spoke, the limpid pools of her ocular organs shimmered with a whimsical delight. Yet Rarity's attainment of such a hallowed and bespectacled bauble would be lay-weighed. For you see, beneath the sun-caked layers of the sodden earth, a faint scratching sound crescendoed into a cacophony as the soil beneath her erupted in an avalanche of a hailstorm of musty fur and yellow shrieking claws, knocking her face down upon her flanks. Regaining her composure at the speed of thought, she turned to meet her aggressors. Who dares perturbate through the sacred gem grounds? Ejaculated Rarity as the amorphous shapes lurched themselves from their obsidian vaults. We are the diamond dogs, thou lusty wench, belched the shaggy-lipped countenance of a beast from the cold-choked recesses of the deepest parts of Tartarus. Its companions grinned with rictus smiles, bearing the repugnant opaque teeth and heaving fetid breath. The gem belongs to us. Remove yourself post-haste, and we may decide to spare your caustic life. You sluts should have chosen your foes more carefully, roared Rarity in a mocking alto. Begone from my sight, or you shall find a foot of unicorn horn lodged within your gizzard. The insult ravaged the creature's wildly raging blood, and they threw themselves heedlessly into the fray. With the slightest of motions, Rarity flicked her dagger-like forehead spike into the oncoming onslaught of flesh and bone. Once lodged firmly into the visual socket of the oncoming foe, she gave her head a turn to the counterclockwise direction, parting the head from its gesticulating flesh. In a shower of gore and blood and sinew and vertebrae and jugulars and retromandibular and superficial maxillary veins. Oh, it's nasty.
Ha-ha! The sight of his comrade-in-arms' decapitation in such a manner, coupled with the unicorn's fiercely blazing head ovals fixed upon his form, sent the second assailant into a paroxysm of shuddering fits. Chalk-white spittle flecked from his gob and sprayed across the cherry-red splotches of viscera smeared across his countenance. He collapsed, unsensing onto the grim, light-forsaken tundra, incoherently gibbering in his seizure. However, the commotion proved opportunistic for the third behemoth, who circled around behind Rarity and grabbed her bustily about the waist. Utilizing a skill taught to her by the battle-maiden Applejack, Rarity cuffed her back hoof forward and laced it heartily backwards, lodging it squarely in the monster's G-string. The furry abomination bellowed with a fetid howl as the dark orbs of his eyes bulged from his skull. Loosing his grip from Rarity, he clutched at his nether regions and wallowed in misery upon the sandy reaches of the blood-stained battlefield, ichor oozing from his wound as he regurgitated the contents of his stomach in a slimy orange-white stream. Ha! Satisfied that her foes had been thoroughly disheartened and killed, Rarity breathed deep the ghost of life and proceeded to claim her prize, the Eye of Argon, and began her journey backwards towards the horizon, back to her boutique, leaving her enemies a quivering blotch upon the grime, blotching things up in the swirling mists of time and legend. Back to you, Joe.